All right, so we give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim in the name of Yashar'al HaMashiach this day. We're going to pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for any of you think you have eternal life, and they will testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you, Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my word? All esteem and praise of Abba and Shamahim in the name of Yashar'al HaMashiach. Shalom, Sister Kelly. God bless, Brother Langford. Let's go over to 1 Chronicles 12 and 32, man. And the sons of Issachar that had understanding of the times, to know what Yashar'al ought to do, the heads of them, 200, and all the brethren were at their commandment. 2 Chronicles 20 and 20. Hey, y'all, it's Lee's birthday on Clubhouse. She got a balloon by her name. They want us to know that. Shalom, Brother Margaret. Amen, man. 2 Chronicles 20 and 20. And when they rose early in the morning and went forth into the wilderness of Tekoa, and as they went forth, Jehoshaphat stood and said, Hear me, O Yehuda, and you inhabitants of Jerusalem. Believe in Yahuwah your Elohim, so shall you be established. Believe his prophets, so shall you prosper. And when he can, that's good right there. And then what it is, Isaiah 36. And I think back into dealing with that. Judges 14 on the back end. That page ain't it. And wisdom. Well, 33 and 5. Yahuwah is exalted, for he dwell on high. Shalom, Brother Ellis. He hath filled Zion with judgment and righteousness. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of your times, strength of salvation, the fear of Yahuwah, his treasure. Let's come back to Judges 14. That's where we was on the back end of things. That's where we was on the back end. Hey, pick that up for me, please, because that's my phone talk. Bring it to me, set it on the table. So, Judges 14, right? You pick it up at 14. Of course, you know we finna get ready to slide in to atonement, things of that sort. So, yeah, we'll look at that. And he said unto them, out of the eater came forth meat, out of the strong come forth sweetness, and they could not in 3 days expound the riddle. It came to pass on the seventh day that they said unto Samson's wife, entice your husband, that he may declare unto us the riddle, lest we burn you in your Abba's house with fire. Have you called us to take that we have? Not. And Samson's wife wept before him and said, you do hate me and love me not. You have put forth a riddle unto the sons of my people and have not told me. And he said unto her, behold, I have not told my father nor my mother. Shall I tell you? And she wept before him 7 days while their feast lasted. And it came to pass on the 7th day that he told her, because she lay sore upon him, she told the riddle to the sons of her people. And the men of the city said unto him on the 7th day before the sun went down, what sweeter than honey? What stronger than a lion? And he said unto them, if you had not plowed with my heifer, you had not found out my riddle. Now, this is the part we want to look at. He said they expounded him on the 7th day before the sun went down, which you can sit back and look at that as the last day of that said feast. Now, of course, we know Hamashiach was crucified during unleavened bread. But of course, as we getting ready to deal with atonement, hold on, let's get this Ecclesiastes 3. And let me just pick which we're going to isolate. Ecclesiastes 3 and 1. To every a season and a time, every purpose under Shamayim. So, of course, we talked about that before. Season is a time or a specific season. I don't think it's more dim right there. My mind is escaping me. I'll tell you in just a second. But of course, we know purpose is confess, that which Yahuwah delight. And this one here, it is Zim on. Shalom, Mother Shalom. An appointed time. Pause and come over here to Leviticus 23 on general principles. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 23. Shalom, bro. Hey, each man, drop that doggone verse, man. You had shared, man. In Samuel, man. I can work that in here right now. Hey, why you doing that? You doing stuff for the sake of doing it. You better not hit her. And yeah, we'll work that. It just came to my mind, didn't I, man? Leviticus 23 and 23. You will spake unto Moses, saying, speaking to the sons of Yashar'al, saying in the 7th month. Oh, I'm bad. I'm too. I don't want that. 26. Leviticus 23 and 26. You will spake unto Moses, saying, also on the 10th of the 7th month, a day of atonement, it shall be a Kadash convocation. Bet. You shall afflict your souls and offer an offering made by fire unto Yahuwah. You shall do no work in that same day, for a day of atonement, to make atonement for you before Yahuwah your Elohim. For whatsoever soul that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among his people. Whatsoever soul that do any work in that same day, the same soul will I destroy from among his people. You shall do no manner of work, statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. It unto you a Shabbat of rest, you shall afflict your souls in the 9th of the month at even. From even unto even shall you celebrate your Shabbat. Now, you know, a lot of brothers, they argue and fuss and fight about should you fast or not. And that's their business, because I don't care. You know what I'm talking about? But when you turn around and you look at afflict, I just want you to pay attention to afflict. What does it mean to afflict your knee fast in this particular passage? And when you look at afflict, of course, it is to be humbled, to be afflicted, to be bound down, to be downcast, to humble yourself, to be afflicted, to weaken oneself. See, a lot of people will sit back and they'll look at that and say, see, that don't mean that you shouldn't eat. But look at this here. Take this into account. It said to weaken oneself. Matthew chapter 4. Matter of fact, before I read Matthew 4, let me finish Ecclesiastes 3, man. That way I can just get it out of the way. And I ain't got to be like, dang, I ain't do it. Let me get this Ecclesiastes 3 and 1 out of the way. So, for to every a season, a time to every purpose under Shamayim, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up, plant it, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down, a time to build up, a time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, a time to dance, a time to cast away stones, a time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get, a time to lose, a time to keep, a time to cast away, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time to keep silence, a time to speak, a time to love, a time to hate, a time of war, a time of peace. Now, when we looking at the, hey, to get that fork from her. Now we're going to look at this aspect. Shalom, Brother Francis. We're going to look at this aspect of the afflicting of the soul as a time of war and a time of peace. See, what the people didn't realize is, see, a lot of people don't realize he fulfilled Day of Atonement during unleavened bread. In fact, he fulfilled the majority of all those feast days during his killing. But a lot of dudes don't realize that, because you want it to be how you want it to be and not how Yahuwah ordained it to be. Because as Paul wrote, man, shalom, Brother Shaul, as Paul wrote at the back end of Romans chapter 2, we are not those who, let me just get it, because it's I'm about to say it wrong. Joanne, go sit your brown behind down somewhere. Yeah, get your teddy and sit your black behind down somewhere. This Romans 2, right? Come over here to about verse 23. Romans 2 and 23. You make your boast of the law through breaking the law, you dishonor your Elohim. For the name of Elohim is blasphemed among the Gentiles through you, as it is written. For circumcision truly profit if you keep the law, but if you're a breaker of the law, your circumcision is made uncircumcision. Therefore, the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law. Shall not his circumcision be counted for circumcision? See, what a lot of people don't realize, the righteousness of the law is not the law itself, but believing in you. You should know that because you scream Deuteronomy 6 and 4 all the time. That's the righteousness of the law. You so simple that you don't believe that Deuteronomy 6 and 4 will allow you to keep the rest of his instructions. You don't keep Deuteronomy 6 and 4. That's why you don't keep his instructions. And so you believe because you know his instructions that somehow make you righteous. Like I said before, man, nigga, you think you righteous because you getting some money? Because you know you're an Israelite? Because you don't eat pork? Like, come on, man, you got to be real with yourself, man. Man, this thing lacking in a whole lot of ways. And I asked for that, the first Samuel, because each asked a question about it online. You know what I'm saying? And we could go into it further. Because many people who in this word are representative of those men in that 1 Samuel chapter 30. I'm talking about the mass majority. The mass majority. Because you think because you're doing the works that mean you righteous, but your heart is sour. And all it takes is the right. Matter of fact, I give you this example, right? I didn't tell you about this, right? Girl I know, she asked if she posted something where this dude was dating this chick. Well, the chick said she was dating a dude. Dude said, hey, man, I like you. But before I can proceed further with you, I want to talk to 2 of your exes or your baby daddy. She said, this is an odd request. All the women on the post is like, why would somebody want to know that? This is odd. You know why it's odd? Because you ain't never met a nigga who want to actually have a comprehensive view of how your mind works to say, I want to deal with you on a serious note. Now, you think when Yahuwah, what you think that mean when Yahuwah say he search your heart? What you think he doing that for? See, you got this old romance stuff, you know, this lovey-dovey stuff in your mind, because in reality, because this is what this nigga just asked me, man. This is what the nigga just asked me. So you gonna hold that against him? Kai, there's certain questions. Don't you want to know how this person deals with adversity? Don't you want to know about their relationship with their father? Do you respect your father? Do you admire your father? Do you obey your father? What kind of woman is your mama? What did your mama teach you about being a lady? How did your mama interact with your daddy? Is she still with your daddy? How do you handle conflict? I done told y'all this before. I ain't said it in a while. Niggas will do more research on buying a car, buying appliances, hell, buying an outfit than you will with the person who you'll have children with and spend the rest of your life with. And you think that's a problem because this man want to know what type of woman are you? Mommy. And she talking about, well, that was me too. I don't care what you might think you changed. You know what a lot of people think they changed? Because they feel like, oh, I grew past this situation and circumstance, but you ain't been in that situation and circumstance to actually know if you grew or not. Because the minute you get with that situation and circumstance, you might revert back to what you did before. Mommy. What do you want? And I'm not your mommy. Give me that. That's not for babies. I said, give me that. I don't know. This nigga on 10. Go sit down. Come on. Come on. No. I'm going to slap the black off of you. That's what I'm going to do. See, a lot of people don't want you to talk to people who dealt with them in the past because they don't. See, this is the thing, right? And this is where it be practical to ask for this request outside of like what the dude asked for. Because he asked that to see, do I want to be serious with this woman? But if you meet a woman, man, and she tell you about, yeah, when I was in this relationship, this man did me like this man did this or did that, your first question is, let me talk to him. Don't tell me about what you said that nigga did. Let me hear his side of the story. Because then I can cross-examine what you saying. And I can cross-examine him with what you said. But you don't want that to happen because you could get exposed that you're lying, trying to pick. Look here, man. One thing about it, man, depending on how old a woman is, man, if you've been in a whole lot of relationships, nigga, and you ain't in none of them, they all fail, you the problem. Because you the common denominator. If you got 6 failed relationships, you was a party in all 6 of them. I guess you know it can't. All the 6 of them men can't be that bad. And then if all 6 of them men that bad, that still speak to you. Because why you keep fooling with niggas that ain't no good for you? Back to back, back to back, back to back. Come on, man. Niggas not grown, man. Let me tell you something, man. This ain't no rom-com. This ain't no romance novel. This is real life, man. I told y'all that a couple weeks ago. Niggas that say don't fall in the matrix. Hollywood selling us lies and fantasies, but then you buy the fantasies of romance that Hollywood sell you. Come on, man. How that gonna work? How that gonna work? So you pick and choose what fantasies you want to buy. You want to buy the fantasies that make you feel good and placate to you. I just seen a lady say, man, why men don't want to be in romance? Because men don't care about that stuff. They don't sell that stuff to men. They sell it to women because they know women will buy it and put pressure on men, so men will go spend money. You don't even realize how you've been manipulated to participate in consumerism and possible mother goddess work. You don't even know how you got game. You don't even know how you got game because you think I'm saying that to say, well, man, you can't do this for your old lady. No, nigga, that's not what nobody's saying. What you're saying, what I'm saying is you've been hustled. You've been scammed. You've been bamboozled. You've been hoodwinked. You got gamed on. You didn't peep the play. You didn't peep the play because it feeds into your delusion of reality that you want to participate in while saying that you deal with truth and righteousness at the same time. Man, who do you think you fool? Nobody. You're lying to yourself. But come on, man, let me finish this here, man. Romans 2 and 25. Well, 26. That 26 mean, man, if somebody believe the word, man, that uncircumcision in their penis gonna count for the circumcision in their heart. The same way that it counted for the uncircumcision, uncircumcision of the flesh of Abraham, but the circumcision of his heart, because he believed in Yahuwah and counted to him for righteousness. But see, a lot of brothers will think Paul making this stuff up or giving an opinion. No, sir, you just don't know the law that well. That's all. Because you want him to quote it, because it's on you, it ain't in you. So you can't even peep the play when he's putting it down. You understand? But let's continue. Verse 27, and shall not your uncircumcision, which is by nature, if it fulfill the law, judge you who by the letter and circumcision do transgress the law? You were circumcised in the penis, got the word, and you still rebel against it. Listen to it. And we're going to see that, not the Gentile part, but the circumcision in the flesh and the transgression of the law. We're going to see that as it pertains to when we got willing, when we get around the corner to this 1 Samuel 30. Hush your mouth. Hush your mouth. You always yelling at people. Nobody's scared of you. I wish I had something to throw at you. I'm going to your butt. For he is not a, this is verse 28, for he is not a Yahudim, which is one outwardly, neither circumcision, which is outward in the flesh, but he a Yahudim, which is one inwardly, and circumcision of the heart, in the ruach, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of Elohim. That's what a lot of people probably mean with the word. Your praise is of men. You want the praise of men and not the praise of God. That's your problem. Matthew chapter 6. You can make it 6 and 5. And when you pray, you should not be as hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and in the corners of the streets, that you may be seen of men, that they may be seen of men. Truly I say unto you, they have their reward. But when you pray, enter into your closet. You know what? I skipped over what I needed. 6 and 1. My bad. I still don't see what I need. Because it's way down here. My fault, y'all. Verse 16. We ain't got time to read all that. We got to hit right to what we need. Matthew 6 and 16. Moreover, when you fast, be not as the hypocrites of a sad countenance, for they disfigure their faces, that they may appear unto men to fast. Truly I say unto you, they have their reward. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, that you appear not unto men to fast, but unto your Abba which is in secret, and your Abba which see in secret shall reward you openly. Now, of course, I ain't got as many brews on my page as I had before. Now, some brews have already observed atonement. Of course, y'all willing will be having our observing Friday evening. That's what a lot of people like to do. They like to talk about they fasting and this, that, and the third. But why is it important? Because again, it's a time of war and a time of peace. See, what you don't understand with the afflicting of your soul is that you're going into battle. But you're going into battle to learn how to defeat your flesh. See, you got a lot of brews. They'll take a day of atonement. They think this is a day of repentance. The day of atonement is not about you repenting. You should have repented before the 10th day of the 7th month even came. If you're waiting on the 10th day of the 7th month to repent, you got a problem. The Day of Atonement is not for you to make reconciliation with your brother. That's not what this book says. You're supposed to make reconciliation with your brother regardless. The Day of Atonement is not about you. The Day of Atonement, according to your law, is dealing with you and the sins that you have committed. You know what I'm talking about? And for you to be able to be made one again with your God. This day ain't got nothing to do with you. You know what I'm talking about? And that's one thing I done noticed since I've been in the Word and started being around Bruce, that they made the Day of Atonement be about them. It's not about you. I know what's finna be about you. I'm gonna get up from the table and I'm gonna whoop your behind. Let me get this Matthew 4 before I forget. This little baby, he'll be pushing it. I want you to look at this here because we were talking about afflicting your soul and how it means to be weak, to be bowed down. This is Matthew 4:1. Then was Yashar'al led up of the Ruach into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. When he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was after hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if you be the son of Elohim, command that these stones be made of bread. Now, let me ask you this question. When you look at verses 1 and 2 in this Matthew chapter 4, as it pertains, Shalom, Brother Reynolds, as it pertains to him fasting. And it says that he was hungered, and then the tempter came. What can you take between the correlation of this man fasting, him being hungered, and then the tempter came? What can you take from that? What comes to your mind? Don't overthink it. This is not a complex question. It don't take no super deep answer. What do you take from that? In the context also of what we're discussing. What y'all take from that? No, it ain't Esau. I don't know how you got Esau out of that. But no, I do know how you got Esau out of that. I do know. Say his flesh was weak. Indeed. Now, if his flesh was weak, then what do you take from that? That this is showing you that while in the affliction of your soul, Shalom, Jay. And now that Sibit mentioned that, he caught me off guard with it. But now I understand why he mentioned that. Why he mentioned Esau. Now, see, Job wasn't fasting. You know what I'm talking about? But I understand why you mentioned Job also. Now, why do you think about this here, right? In a moment when your flesh needs food, this man get tempted in the spirit because the things that Satan tempted him with, he didn't tempt. Like I've been telling y'all this before, man. Yahushua wasn't walking around here getting tempted with no coochie. He wasn't getting tempted with that. You get tempted with the things that you desire or the things that you know belong to you. See, most men get tempted with coochie because you think about sex all the time. You know what I'm saying? I just had a conversation with a few brews maybe 2-3 weeks ago where they were saying that, like, man, these young men gonna have sex anyway. What type of men are you to tell young men to delve into lust and say you can't defeat the lust, so you might as well just go ahead and give into it because you're gonna do it anyway? Them wicked niggas who tell you that. Anybody that tell you, nah, it's all right if you get sin, ain't no big deal. That nigga wicked as hell. Boy, who ain't in him? So ain't no word in him. Man, listen to me, man. This man told you in Matthew chapter 26, the Ruach is willing. Watch and pray, lest you enter into temptation. For the Ruach is willing, but the flesh is weak. So when you turn around and you fasting for the purpose of strengthening your inward man. You know what I'm talking about? See, let me show you this here. 2 Corinthians 4, I believe. That page ain't in his book. So we're going to give me a second. That page ain't in his book. Second Corinthians chapter 4, verse 16. He say, for which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward is renewed day by day. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, work for us a far more exceeding eternal weight of esteem. So listen, when you're fasting on atonement, and you're fasting on atonement for the purpose of reconciliation, go in your room with that. Cut it out. 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 When you're looking at atonement and you're afflicting your soul, you are voluntarily suffering to humble yourself, to weaken yourself. That's the purpose of it. This is a time of war because you're learning how to be able to, matter of fact, where I start that? This 2 Corinthians 4:16. So listen, right? He said people to figure their face to let it know they be fasting because you feel like you finna fall out because you hungry, because you ain't had nothing to drink. So your outward man is perishing. So your flesh is perishing so that your inward man could be made new, so that you could be Kadash, if you will. Not the Q-O, but the C-A-D is forth as being new, something repaired. You understand? So you understand that light affliction, because you going without food, is a light affliction. As forth as you look at as the light affliction that was but for a moment for Hamashiach, because pain may endure for a night, but joy come in the morning. It's going to work of weightier weight of esteem, which is to become a son of Elohim. You understand? So verse 18 tells you, come here. Come here. Sit your behind down somewhere. Shut your mouth. Verse 18. While we look at not at the things which are seen, but the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporary, but the things which are not seen, eternal. So you sit back and you look at, right, the things that you can't see cause you to live forever. You can see food and drink. She talking about that food. You hungry? I just had that math. 1 Peter 4:1. For as much then as the Mashiach have suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. He that suffered in the flesh have ceased from sin, that he should no longer live the rest of time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of Elohim. That's what you're supposed to be learning when you fasting. That you will no longer live according to the lust of the flesh or to the lust of men, but to the will of Elohim. That in the midst of that suffering or that humility, you can learn to be able to let the outward man perish so that the inward man could be made new. I was just telling my man this here earlier, man, I tell you this all the time. By grace of Elohim, we have service 3 times a week. I done told y'all this before. It's not for the purpose of just going through the word. It's for the purpose of training. You understand? See, because most of us don't know the word or we don't go through the word enough, that when you actually out here in the world and you get faced with situations and circumstances that those who say they the sons and daughters of Elohim and profess that we Israelites and this, that, there, and the third, you continue to fail because you have no training. See, when you get trained, you lay that information up in your heart. And then therefore, when as we talked about on numerous occasions, under times of high stress, under high duress, which is why I read the Matthew 4:1, this man been fasting for 40 days and 40 nights. He hungered. Here comes the tempter. When the tempter came, all he hit him back with was the word because he just referred back to his training. See, when it's in you and not on you, it's going to come out of you during times of stress because the only thing you're going to be able to do is revert back to how you was trained. That's why he say to you that you are Yahudim who's not circumcised in the flesh, but in the heart, whose praise is not of men and not in the letter, but in the Ruach and of Elohim. See, we don't understand that. So that's why when dudes go out here and get tempted, that's why you giving into your temptation, because you ain't got no training. Ain't nobody taught you how to suffer in no flesh. They telling you lie. Keep the commandments to the best of your ability. That man ain't never told you that. You can never stop sinning. That man ain't never told you that. That's why when it's time where you're going to have to lean on your faith, you ain't got nothing to lean on. And that's what a lot of brews don't really understand. There's going to be a time where the only thing you're going to be able to lean on is your trust in the word of Yahuwah. Not no weapons, not no food, not no land, not no brother, not no sister, not no currency, not no system, simply Yahuwah. And if you're not trained for that, you're going to fold. Because you're not going to have trust in what your eyes can't see. You can't see Yahuwah, yet you believe he exists, don't you? Or you just doing this because this is what everybody else doing. You know what I'm talking about? That's when you get to the nitty gritty about why you in this game, man. What you doing this for? Man, I told you, man, my big homie told me when I was hustling, man, if you wasn't out here to get some money, what you out here for? If you ain't out here to save your soul and live forever, what you doing it for? Because the stuff you think he gonna give you points for, that man don't give a damn. He ain't gonna give you points, but what he said he gonna give you points for. Because one thing I know about Yahuwah, he's not compromising. And you know you're wrong. Pardon me. Stop. Hush your mouth. Back it up. Hush it up. Hush your mouth. Hush your mouth. Hush your mouth. You acting up. Hush your mouth. You acting up. Sit down and be quiet. You better go and sit down and get like you got some sense. Because you acting like you don't know how to think straight. You're going to make me come over there again. I'm not playing with you. Sit down. Man, one thing about it, man. If this word ain't in your heart, man, when you faced with a situation where you need to have long suffering, how you going to do it? If this word ain't in your heart and you facing a situation where you're going to need self-control, how you going to do it? If you facing a situation where you're going to have to lean on faith, how you going to do it? If you faced with a situation where you're going to have to be meek, how you going to do it? If the word ain't in you, how you going to do it? If you ain't been trained for that situation, how are you going to do it? See, we just believe that you can do anything without training. That is a bold-faced lie. Where and anywhere in life can you do something you ain't been trained for it first? We don't believe. We the only group of people that don't believe that you need to be trained to be able to perform at an optimal level in situations and circumstances of high stress. Do you not know that your flesh will put you in a situation and circumstance of high stress? How you gonna fight if you ain't never been? You bet not do it. I promise you, you bet not do it. How you gonna be able? Most niggas can't fight because they ain't never been trained to fight. Most women believe that all men just automatically know how to fight. Some men have natural ability, and then it gets tailored, it gets perfected. But man, most men don't know how to participate in hand-to-hand combat. How you just jump out the womb and know how to participate in hand-to-hand combat? Ain't nobody never taught you or showed you nothing. They don't even make common sense. That's why dudes who don't know how to fight get beat up by people who do. Because he know what he doing. Because somebody showed him and taught him what to do. We the only group of people think you're supposed to teach yourself what to do. That's why you keep failing. See, let me show you why I'm saying what I'm saying. Galatians chapter 5. 5 and 16. I say then, this is Galatians 5 and 16, walk in the Ruach, and you should not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusts against the Ruach, and the Ruach against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that you cannot do the things that you would. But if you be led of the Ruach, you are not under the law. See, when a lot of people see that, he telling you not to keep the law. So you don't know the law well enough to know what he's talking about. Now I'm going to ask y'all this question, and I need you to respond with scriptures or epistle verses to support your stance. If he said, if you're led of the Ruach, you are not under the law, how would you explain this? If somebody said, what does this mean? How are you going to explain it? I'll give you a second. I won't give you too long, but I'll give you long enough. We had 35 minutes. I give you about 36 and a half. Because we have to die. Don Joanne. All right, you got about a minute. Mortifying our members. You say Romans 6:14, Brother Reynolds?
No, ma'am.
Got about 45 seconds. And all this is still dealing with the afflicting of the soul. Galatians 3, you're not under the schoolmaster. That's what Will say. LaJohnny said, I would go to Abraham being counted righteous for faith. Mother Sharona mentioned Colossians 3. Say the same thing, Galatians 3:24. Got about 15 more seconds. He said, if you led of the Ruach, you're not under the law. I want to show you something. I'm going to put a whole bunch of things together. And then we're going to go from there. You know what I'm talking about? I want you to come over here to Genesis chapter 2 and 7, just on general principle to start this off. Mother Sharona say, walking in love. All those are good answers, good answers. You know, nothing wrong with them. But you know, me, myself, I want you to be thorough. You know what I'm saying? And I want y'all to make it clear as possible. Because I doubt that you would actually run across somebody who would ask you this question. A lot of times I believe those questions only get asked when Hebrews are trying to assault Christians for what they believe. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that type of person. I just had a conversation with a dude shared something. He said, this is incel talk. And I just was asking him, why do you say that? See, a lot of people don't even ask people why they hold the perspectives they hold because you're too quick to try to show how much you disagree with it and prove it wrong. Whether I agree with your perspective or I don't agree with your perspective, I still want to know how you arrive to it. That's where we can have conversation as grown men. Nigga, I'm not coming to no conversation. I'm gonna prove this nigga wrong. That's what sissy niggas do, man. You're a grown man. If you disagree with a man about his perspective, the first thought in your mind should be, well, brother, how did you arrive there? So that if you believe that he's wrong, through the discourse of the conversation, you can share your information to cause him to possibly reassess his stance. But you coming in like a in a fight, ready to argue, go back and forth. That's not manhood, man. Who raised you, nigga? That's not how men converse. That's not how men operate. That's not how you try to sway somebody's perspective with persuasion of your information. They're going to get defensive, silly. So, of course, they're not going to listen to you. Because you don't want to understand somebody because you want to be right. You don't want to win a soul. You want to be right. That's why you're ineffective. You know what I'm talking about? Books say he that winneth souls is wise. You supposed to be acquiring and getting people to be acquired and possessed by you. You supposed to try to get people to turn from opposing themselves, not trying to prove that you right. That's little boy stuff, man. You're supposed to be a grown man. You're supposed to, if you say you a son of God, you're supposed to be mature. That's not how a mature-minded man thinks. That's not how a mature-minded man operates. Even when Yahushua knew these men was tempting him, he still came at him in a fashion to hit him with the information where they wasn't ready. Because he already know my information fine. I ain't got to argue and go back and forth with you, man. I ain't got to do that. But how the way that I'm going to communicate with you, I'm going to show you the holes in what it is that you're saying. And through that, maybe you might go back home and reassess your stance. Because I care more about your soul than being right. Niggas care too much about being right. That's a female trait, bro. That's a female trait. That's not how men supposed to operate, man. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't taught that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe y'all were. But I'd always noticed in my lifetime that women be focused on being right. Irregardless to actually, the book tell you, man, when I done told you before, man, you could be right and still lose your brother. You want to maintain the connection or you want to be right? You know what I'm saying? You want to win somebody over or you want to be right? Because you could be right and still be a damn fool. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, Galatians 2 and 7, excuse me. Yahuwah Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Now I came there for a reason. And that reason is what this. We know from Luke chapter 3 that Adam is described as being a son of Elohim. Well, when he breathed into him the Ruach, Adam was supposed to be led of the Ruach, which is why he told him, do not eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for in the day that you eat of it, you will die. So at that moment when he was led of the Ruach, he was not under the law because death had no dominion over him because he was not a sinner. You understand? See, when you led of the Ruach, you're not under the law. Let's look at another instance of this. In John chapter 4, right? It tells you that Elohim is a what? A Ruach. And everyone that worship him must worship him in what? Ruach and in truth. Ain't that what it say? Now, let's take a look at Exodus 34 and 6, because, you know, I don't need no excuse to expound the character of Yahuwah. It needs to be expounded consistently and regularly and constantly. Brother Francis say, because you led by the Spirit, the law of sin doesn't exactly, which is why I believe Brother Reynolds mentioned Romans 6 and 14, which is an accurate assessment. Sometimes the words of a passage come to my mind, sometimes it don't. When you mentioned that, that came to my mind that's what Romans 6 and 14 says. And we're going to get that in a minute. Exodus 34 and 4. And he hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first. And Moses rose up early in the morning, went up to Mount Sinai as Yahuwah had commanded him. And he took in his hand the 2 tables of stone. Yahuwah descended in the cloud and proclaimed with him there and proclaimed the name of Yahuwah. And Yahuwah passed by before him and proclaimed, Yahuwah Elohim, merciful, gracious, long-suffering, abundant in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, that will by no means clear. Visit the iniquity of the fathers upon the sons and upon the sons' sons unto the third and the fourth. See, a lot of people don't realize that Exodus 34 was showing you a pathway to the Day of Atonement. You know what I'm talking about? You know why? Because he took them 2 tables of stone, which you broke, because you made that golden calf. When Moses threw them down, it was showing you that you broke them. He sent Moses back up there to him to make 2 new tables of stone to show you how he would reconcile or make atonement for you. And then he proclaimed who he is, a merciful, gracious, full of goodness and truth, and merciful and forgiving Elohim. You know what I'm talking about? Which is all about, see, you forget atonement is about reconciliation. Don't you understand when Moses broke them 2 tables of stone, you were separated from God, you needed to be reconciled? You don't realize that? You don't pay attention to that? That's the purpose of why you fasting. You fasting to learn how to humble yourself and afflict yourself so that you could be reconciled to your Elohim, so you could understand what it was Yahushua went through when he died on your behalf. See, a lot of people look at you can't die for sin. You so stupid, you don't understand. What's the penalty of sin is death. That's the only way you're going to be able to be reconciled unto life. Somebody got to die. Somebody got to die. But you don't know your God. You don't have understanding. So you just think you just ain't drinking. You just think that you ain't eating. Some people don't do it at all. You missed the point. That's why you can't stop sinning. I've been telling you for 10 years, really almost 11. Man, if you can deny your body what it needs, you can deny it what it won't. That's why he say he that suffer in the flesh cease from sin. You need food and water. And if you can deny your body what it needs for a 24-hour period, you can deny what it won't every day. Which is going on why he tell you to take up your stake daily and follow him. You're supposed to be afflicting your soul every day. Do you not understand when that man was on that stake, his soul was being afflicted? And even in the midst of being afflicted, the man turned down food and water so that he could fulfill Day of Atonement fasting just like everybody else. And you missed it. And you missed it. See, individuals think this is about all y'all doing is superimposing him on the text. No, my nigga. We getting the understanding so our soul can be saved, so we can be trained. So that I know that if you know every year, even if you don't fast no other time out the year, every year, if you can afflict your soul and deny your flesh what it wants, what it needs, I should say, then you should have the ability to know what it is to take up your stake daily and suffer like he suffered. It's a reminder. It's a reminder that sin can be overcome. Amen, Mother Sharon. That sin can be overcome through the simple, strict endurance of humbling yourself before your God and denying yourself to receive his word. That's why when Satan came at him and told him turn them stones into bread, he said, man, don't live by bread alone, but every word that out of that proceed out of the mouth of Elohim do man live. Because he was letting it know, man, my life ain't in no food and drink, nigga. My life is in my maker. My life is in his word. I'll chew on that. I'll be sustained with that. I'll be nourished with that. I'll be able to get the growth and see, a lot of people ain't getting the growth and development that they desire because you ain't in the word, man. You looking at outward growth and development. I'm looking at inward. You can change your clothes and still be the same rotten nigga you wore before you changed them. You can give yourself a Hebrew name and still be the same sucker, no good man you wore before you did it. You can take off the tight pants and put on skirts and a head wrap and still be a bald-headed scallywag. Because that ain't dealing with the main crux of the matter, which is your heart. So when you're dealing with the afflicting of the soul, you're dealing with a time of peace and a time of war. You understand? See, when Yahushua began to be afflicted, his flesh he's like, man, I'm exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Man, Abba, please let this cup pass for me. But not my will be done, but your will be done. Because you were seeing the battle between the Ruach and the flesh. But because he relied on the word, he relied on his training, the Ruach won. When it became even that deep, he said, let me go pray to him. He sent a Malachim to strengthen him. Because then you got to understand, when you see it's a time of war and a time of peace, you got to be able to tell the people what they ought to do. You don't realize that the Day of Atonement is to remind you about the war. Not the war between you and man. Not a war between you and the devil. But a war between the flesh and the spirit. You understand? Romans 6:14, sit down properly like a young lady should. If you can't sit down properly like a young lady should, you can just sit on the couch. It's not that hard. It's not up for debate. It's not up for discussion or what's to your liking. Now, if you want to operate like a little boy, you can get treated like a little boy. And I don't think you want to live the life of a boy. Romans 6. Romans 6:6. Make it 3 then. No, this is Romans 6:3. Know you not that so many of us, as were immersed into Yahushua HaMashiach, were immersed into his death? Therefore, we are buried with him by immersion into death, that like as a Mashiach was raised up from the dead by the esteem of Abba, even so we should walk in newness of life. See, this goes back to when he said he put the world in your heart, or he put eternity in your heart. And it also deals with the aspect of what we were talking about beforehand, that your inward man being renewed. Now you are a new creature. There's been a repairing. You know what I'm saying? So I was talking with my dog about that earlier, man. We so worried about proving doctrine wrong. You're too damn old for that. You're too old for that. Prove doctrine wrong for what? What you getting out of that? The reason why I say that, because you're arguing with people on that's what they own. But how is the people at large going to benefit from you proving doctrine wrong? Who cares? Who really cares? Really cares. That's how I know you're not outside, man. That's how I know you're not dealing with real people. That's how I know that this is a pretentious character that you've created for the internet. This is not the real you. Leave it alone. I hope you get a whooping. Verse 5, Romans 6. For if we have been planted together in the likeness of his death, we shall also resurrection. Knowing this, that our old man is crucified with, that the body of sin might be destroyed, that henceforth we should not serve sin. For he that is dead is free from sin. Now, if we be dead with the Mashiach, we believe that we shall also live with him. Knowing that the Mashiach, being risen from the dead, died no more, death have no more dominion over him. For in that he died under sin once. But in that he lived under Elohim. Likewise, reckon you also yourselves to be dead indeed under sin, but alive under Elohim through Yahushua HaMashiach. Let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body, that you should obey it in the lust thereof. Neither yield your members as instruments of unrighteousness unto sin, but yield yourselves unto Elohim as those that are alive from the dead, your members instruments of righteousness unto Elohim. For sin shall not have dominion over you, for you are not under the law, but under grace. So now you say you're not under law, but you're under mercy. You know what this means? What we just read in Exodus 34. Because when he told Moses to go up there and make them two stones of that covenant again, you was under grace and not under the law, because the law said everybody's supposed to die. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I mean by dudes don't know the law for real, man. Everybody in Yashar'al was out there with that golden calf, eating, drinking, and playing. Now, if we go read Exodus 32, did it say it was only some of them, or was everybody out there? You tell me. When they made that golden calf, was not the whole house of Yashar'al out there? Did it not say that people ate, drank, and rose up to play? Ain't that what it said? So that means under the law, what's supposed to happen to the whole nation of Yashar'al right then? They supposed to die. They broke the covenant. Don't break into the covenant mean death. So when the man made two tables of stone again, then that man turn around and say, boy, you're not under the law, but under grace. That's what the book say. But you don't know the law for real. So then you turn around poking the finger at a Christian, but y'all both stupid. Because you don't know what it means, and he don't know what it means. Because you can't even look in the law and see it. You can't even look in the law and see it. Don't you know all us is under grace and not under the law? Because all us supposed to die. Every person here done committed a sin worthy of death. I don't care if you knew the law or not. The Kenites ain't know the law and they still died. They still died. Because whether you under the law or you not under the law, you still getting judged by it. Nobody want to hear all that, this junk we be talking, man. Man, you got to really know the law to know what this man talking about, and you can pick up what he putting down. So when this man say you not under the law, if you led by the Ruach, you not under law, the Ruach of Elohim can't die. So if you're producing the fruits of the Ruach, how you going to be under the law? And the law say if you sin, you shall die. Come on, man. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. So then when you understand that and you being tempted because you have already afflicted your soul, you know how to be able to endure temptation because you knew how to endure not eating. You knew how to endure not drinking no water. Your body need food. Your body need water. You don't need no coochie. You don't need no penis. You don't need praise. You don't need none of that type of stuff, man. You don't need alcohol. You don't need marijuana. You don't need none of that. You don't need none of that. That's what you want. You understand? But see, we don't pay attention to that because you don't really want to draw closer to the man. Now, I'm going to add one more element because we're talking about Judges, which was a 7-day feast, which is aligned with what? Passover or tabernacle, because he said, expound this riddle to me in 7 days during the time of the feast. People see that, look right over it. You just look right over it. I've been telling y'all this for years, man. Don't study the law. Don't study the word to debate. Indeed, the law was not made for a just man. Righteous man don't need that. Yahuwah don't need the law. You think Yahuwah in heaven need a law? This man righteous. What do he need a law for? The law is for sinners. That's why he told Adam, don't fool with it. You made in my image. That means you're righteous. I made you in my image and in my likeness. I made you by my word. My word is righteous on his face. What do you mean? What do you mean? How you don't know your God and you don't know this? Yahuwah is righteous. Yahuwah don't need no law. His word is righteous. That's what the book say. And if he made Adam by a word and Adam is the son of Elohim, guess that means what Adam is. That means Adam righteous. What do he need a law for? You so big on the law because you a sinner. Man, I've been telling you for a long time, I don't give a damn what Hebrews get mad about it. Nigga, if you always talking about the law, it's because you a sinner. You're only supposed to teach the law to people who don't know it. If all of us in here know the law, what we talking about it for? You're supposed to move on to bigger and better things at this point. You boasting because you keep a feast day? Nigga, I'm not impressed. You boasting because you keep the Sabbath? Nigga, I'm not impressed. How am I being impressed? I don't eat no pork, but you hit random women. You have sex with random women, but I'm supposed to be impressed by the fact you don't eat pork. Nigga, you might as well eat that thing from the rooter to the tutor like you used to do, nigga. Like, come on, man. I'm not impressed with that. Why is you impressed? You'll sit back and talk about don't take the bare minimum, sis. Don't let that woman give you the bare minimum, but then you boast about giving Yahuwah the bare minimum like you doing something, man. That man say keeping his commandments, that's your reason. That man say, not even say, that man say to offer yourself as a living sacrifice is your reasonable service. Pardon me. That's a light thing. You ain't doing nothing. Ain't nobody impressed by that. That's what you're supposed to do. Let me tell you something, man. Because I think my mama just told Muffin this the other day. Because this is how we was raised. Man, we ain't getting no bonus points for bringing good grades. That's what we were told. That's what you're supposed to do. We ain't get no bonus points because you cleaned your room. Nigga, you supposed to do that. You give children credit for doing what they supposed to do. Make them feel like they done something phenomenal. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's why the standard be so low. That's why people don't strive and achieve for nothing. Because you make what they supposed to do seem like it's the greatest thing ever. You know what I'm talking about? Like, come on, man. That's what you're supposed to do. Don't get no credit for that. I'm not impressed with that. I keep the law. You're supposed to keep it. What are you talking about? Then if you say you're a son of God, that should be obvious. That ain't even nothing to talk about, bro. It ain't nothing to discuss. It ain't nothing to be impressed by. It ain't nothing to boast about at all. I don't even remember where I was going. Probably back to Judges 14. That'll work. Oh, I know I was going to pray God. Daniel 9. Daniel 9 and 24. Praise you, Lord. That's where I was going. By the direction of the stuff we've been dealing with lately, boy, Daniel 9 is going to start creeping into one that we don't need no excuse to go around that corner. Especially what he finna tell you in Daniel 9. He finna let you know that during that Passover, that atonement, we're going to be fulfilled in it. He will let you know. Daniel 9 and 24. 70 weeks are determined upon your people and upon the Kadah city to finish the transgression, to make an end of sins, to make reconciliation for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, the seal of the vision and the prophecy, to anoint the most Kadash. Know therefore and understand from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem under Hamashiach the prince, 7 weeks, 62 weeks, the street shall be built again in the wall, even in troublous times. Understand, son, right? Then he say after 62 weeks, Hamashiach shall be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince shall come and destroy the city and the sanctuary and end thereof with the flood until the end of the war of desolations are determined. And he shall confirm the covenant with many. For 1 week, in the midst of the week, shall he cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease. Now, why is he going to cause this sacrifice and oblation to cease? Let's just take a little bit and look at Leviticus 16. And it's just a way for me to lay a framework, because we're talking about to know the time of what we ought to do and to help out anybody who ain't really familiar with the Day of Atonement like that at the same time. Because everybody think the Day of Atonement is about going out to repent. Do you understand that them people didn't go out and repent on the Day of Atonement? That's not what they went out there for. Wasn't nobody out there repenting. That's not what it was for. It was for reconciliation. It was for the sins of the people. It wasn't no need for you to repent if you've been sinning all year. The sin's still here. It's got to be reconciled. See, our people think saying I'm sorry or I repent is gonna cover up that sin. That's not how that works, man. Somebody got to pay for that sin. This is something that I see that a lot of Jews don't really realize, of course, what's in your law and how this operates. When you commit sin, something got to pay for that. There's a price that has to be paid for that. That's why he tell you there's a day of recompense. Because he say that blood is on you. You playing with a man booty hole, that man say blood on you. That man say you killed the man, blood on you. That's why that Isaiah 4 man say he got to purge the doggone blood out of the land with the ruach of burning. Because something got to be paid. See, we don't pay attention to that. You don't pay, because you think that just saying I'm sorry gonna get that off because you used to dealing with man. No, man, somebody, look here, man. When the people was out there with that golden calf, what happened? What happened with that golden calf, man? What happened in that situation and circumstance? What happened? Who can tell me what happened? Go ahead. You want to tell me what happened? Go ahead. Say what? Don't talk to me like a baby. Talk to me like an 8-year-old. They drunk and they played, and what happened after that? That's right. And what happened after that? You skipping over something. Probably something that probably wouldn't resonate in your mind because it's kind of tough. But he stood with all the Levites and he said, who on Yahuwah's side? Well, he stood and said, who on Yahuwah's side? And all the Levites came and stood with him. And you know what they did after that? They killed 3,000 people. You know why 3,000 people had to die? Indeed, because they bowed down and worshiped another God. Therefore, when you do that, and Mother Sharona just put that in the chat on YouTube, when you do that, somebody has to die for that sin. See, that's what a lot of brothers don't understand. He didn't just die for the individual sins of a person. He died for the sins of the people so you could be reconciled back to your God. Because that's what the Day of Atonement was about. And all these laws, all these, what you call them, all these scribes, all these masters and teachers of the law, and none of them know this. They got you around here talking about you supposed to be repentant to your brother. You supposed to be reconciled to your brother. Nigga, don't call me talking about my bad. You should have been did that. If it was that serious to you. See, I look at it as here. If you did it on the Day of Atonement, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to think it's fake. Because if you really cared about the relationship, you would have already done that if you believe that you offended me in that type of fashion. You would have already done it. You would have already done it. Not because, oh, it's Day of Atonement. You know, you got to make it right with everybody. Nigga, you flawing, you faking, you phony, nigga. Think you fooling, man. And I say that as if you genuinely care about the person who you say you offended. That's if you because if you genuinely love that person, see, it's different if you ain't know you offended them and they told you that. But if you call it a nigga like, if I offended you, what do you mean if you, nigga, you know if you offended somebody or not. You know what I'm talking about? Now, it's different if they were offended and they didn't say nothing to you. Then you don't know for real. To be able to make that, to make sure that, see what I'm talking about is the main, because he'll tell you that in Proverbs, man, debate your cause with your neighbor so that you can win your neighbor. Yashar'al told you, man, if you and your brother at alt, man, don't drop your gift. Don't worry about your gift at the altar. Go make it right with your brother. You know what I'm talking about? You know why he telling you that? Because your bond with your brother is supposed to be what's important. See, if you walking around here talking bad about a nigga, but you ain't went and talk to him, you a pussy for one, if ain't nobody told you. You a coward, you a buster, and you a sucker, and you weren't really friends or brothers with that man. You didn't really love and care about that man. Because if it bothered you that badly, if it was that serious, and you love this man like you say you did, you would have went and made sure that, hey, bro, when you did this here, man, that bothered me, bro. This is how this made me feel, man. You would have went and had a conversation about it. You didn't go have a conversation about it because it ain't real, because you know it's some sucker stuff. You know you a buster, and you trying to frame it to make yourself feel better about doing the sucker stuff you doing to somebody who you really ain't fool with for real. And you thinking you fooling somebody. You ain't fooling me. You can fool them busting niggas you run with. Because you ain't going to fool me with that. And the real reason why you ain't going to fool me with that, because I ain't grow up that way, man. My homeboy will tell you, hey, boy, I ain't like that, boy. Nigga ain't sit back and argue, go back and forth. This is my brother. You understand me? Like I told you before, majority of everybody from our neighborhood, man, niggas still tapped in with each other, man, 30 years later. Like this ain't, nigga just don't say, this my brother just to say it. This is my brother. I love this man. I die for this man. I kill for this man. You know what I'm talking about? This is my brother. This is my friend. I love this man. Like Method Man said, not in the physical form, but in the mental. That's what Method Man said on the record. This is my brother. I love him. So I'm more concerned with making sure me and my brother good than be like, no, I ain't do that to you, bro. This, that, and the third. Hell no. That's how I know most nigga, you ain't friend for real, man. You ain't a man who can be trusted. You don't value your friends. You don't value your brothers. You don't value that, man. You don't value that because you too pussy to make sure that the relationship stay good. You too pussy for that. You want to walk around like a hoe and talk about a nigga or talk about, I'm venting. Nigga, you need to get hit with an AC vent, nigga. Niggas don't respect that. Who raised you niggas, man? These niggas make me sick. I'm talking about, they make me a nigga literally want to retch and have vomit at the base of your throat. It's burning. You ever have felt like you had to throw up and that junk come up, you know what I'm saying, the acid reflux, whatever you want to call it, and make your throat just feel like, oh, this is horrible. That's how these whole niggas make me. That's how I see these whole niggas, man. I want to spiritually retch. I hate you niggas. You niggas suck. And you claim to represent Yahuwah. Nigga ought to slap you in the face with a cast iron skillet. You know what I'm talking about? Because we got this man out here looking bad how we operate because niggas don't really fool with each other for real. You know what I'm saying? You don't really love people for real. But I know more people don't love people for real because love ain't in you. And if love ain't in you, I know Yahuwah ain't in you. You know what I'm talking about? It ain't hard to love nobody. It take more effort not to love than to love, to be honest with you. It take more effort to be without love than to have it. Because you have to purposely pull love back. You have to make a conscious effort not to love. You know, when you sit back, reason why I say that, when Yahuwah pulled his love back from Yashar'al, that was a conscious decision. I'm taking that back. When Yahuwah was with the people, the love just flowed. It just flowed. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. It wasn't nothing to stop it. But boy, when that love got pulled back, that meant, hey, you got to make a conscious decision to take love back. Because love ain't what you feel, man. It's what you do, man. Book tell you that. And if the book say that Yahuwah is a forgiving Elohim and long-suffering, that means reconciliation is a part of his makeup. That's why he wants you to suffer and afflict yourself so you can understand why you're doing it, because you're seeking to be reconciled to him so you can be one with him again. I don't think most people want to be one with him. They keep it a buck with you. You know what I'm talking about? But that's a whole nother story for another day. Leviticus 16:1. I still got to get this 1 Samuel 30 in here for. Hey, you want to get in that oven? It is hot. Then why you playing with it? What you mean what I'm talking about? What? Joanne. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to get an oven lock. This nigga here. She want to cook food. Why you come on? Let's go ahead and touch it. Since that's what you want to do. I hope you burn yourself. I ain't getting up no more. And when you burn yourself, don't come over here crying. Leviticus 16:1. That's what you get. That's what you get. Then what you opening it for? Yahuwah spake unto Moses after the death of the two sons of Aaron, when they offered before Yahuwah and died. Yahuwah said unto Moses, speak unto Aaron your brother, that he come not at all times into the Kadash, within the veil before the mercy seat. You nigga done put that junk in the oven. Which is upon the ark, that he die not, for I will appear in the cloud upon the mercy seat. Thus shall Aaron come into the Kadash with a young bullock for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering. Now I'm going to drop down to verse 5. And he shall take the Yashar'al 2 kids of the goats for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering. And Aaron shall offer his bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, and make an atonement for himself and for his house. He shall take the 2 goats and present them before Yahuwah, the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron shall cast his lots upon the 2 goats, one lot for Yahuwah, and the other lot for the scapegoat. Aaron shall bring the goat which upon Yahuwah's lot fell, and offer him a sin offering. But the goat on which the lot fell to the scapegoat, he shall be presented alive before Yahuwah to make an atonement with him and to let him go for a scapegoat into the wilderness. And Aaron shall bring the bullock of the sin offering rich for himself and shall make an atonement for himself and for his house and shall kill the bullock of the sin offering which for himself. And he shall take a censer full of burning coals of fire from off the altar for Yahuwah, and his hands full of sweet incense beaten small, bring within the veil. And he shall put the incense upon the fire before Yahuwah, that the cloud of incense may cover the mercy seat upon the testimony that he died not. Don't you realize that when Yahushua was up there on that stake, that was representative of him sitting on the mercy seat? Don't you realize that cloud that made it go dark at about the 9th hour was representative of that sweet incense beaten small to cover that mercy seat? To show you that God came down because he said he would come down in the cloud on the mercy seat, and you didn't catch it. Who else can show mercy unto man but Elohim himself? And you got dudes running to me, Jesus wasn't God because you stupid. You right, he wasn't God. He ain't your God. I don't know who your God is. You just got you just got the Bible in your hand. You just got, let me not say that. You got the book of Yahuwah in your hand. You ain't got no God. Because if you ain't know that was your God on that stake, I don't know what you've been reading. Because who else going to redeem you from sin and give you everlasting life but God? Man can't do it. You that stupid? You got dudes walking around here. Israel is the suffering servant. How Israel going to redeem Israel back to itself? How Israel going to be a sin offering for Israel? How sin going to be offered for sin? Well, you got to have a perfect, unblemished sacrifice to redeem man from sin. Man, how stupid is that? How stupid is that? You don't even know the law, man. Shut your mouth. Niggas dumb. On purpose. And then niggas act like, oh, we ain't supposed to talk about our people like that. You lying to me. Because clearly you don't know the prophets or any of the righteous men before. Man, them men wasn't on that tiptoeing about we can't talk about our people. Man, we down with Yahuwah, boy. We not pro-Israel, we pro-Yahuwah. We not pro-black, we pro-Yahuwah. We pro-righteousness, man. What's right is what's right. We not riding with you because we got the same genetic makeup, man. Man, that's how you end up following a multitude under death, man. That's how you end up running behind sin, man. Well, you got to be down with Yahuwah. You can't be down with nobody else because being down with man will cost you your life. Because man will lead you wrong. Yahuwah ain't going to do nothing but lead you right. He ain't going to never steer you in the wrong direction. You understand me? Well, you got to know that. You got to understand that. You got to believe that. If you don't know that, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. See, some brothers be like, damn, that nigga a Christian. Call me what you want, nigga. Just don't call me late for dinner. See, you understand something? See, a lot of these niggas, you get upset because you worried about how another nigga see you. Man, I don't give a damn what you niggas think or say about me, nigga. I don't live and die off the opinion of another man. Nigga, I don't like men. Care about what you think. I care about what Yahuwah think. I don't care about what you say. I care about what Yahuwah say. Because unless you a just, righteous man, that's the only way I'm going to value what you got to say to me. You know what I'm talking about? And if you ain't standing on faith, ain't nothing righteous about you. Keep it a buck with you. Ain't nothing righteous about you. We ain't on that John, man. We ain't on that John, man. But we down with Yahuwah over here, man. They're pro-Elohim over here, man. Being pro-Israel, you'll follow behind Saul. Being pro-Israel, you'll follow behind Absalom. You know what I'm talking about? That's what you're going to do. That's right, Brother Renner. Brother Renner said being a respected person is a sin. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all niggas follow behind goofy niggas, man, because that's what you're used to. A lot of you ain't used to being around real men who thoroughbreds, man. You know what I'm talking about? Thorough all the way around the board. And thorough just meaning 100% authentic to who it is that they say they are and what it is that they stand for and how they live their life. Y'all used to people who pump faking and hesitating, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're used to. That's what you're used to hanging with. Man, I'm not used to that, man. I'm not accustomed to that, nor do I want to become accustomed to it. You know what I'm talking about? Just because we know we're Israel, man, don't mean I'm supposed to be sucker free. I'm not running with you niggas, man. I'm not co-signing what you niggas got going on. Y'all niggas will jump behind some junk because some Israelite did it. You ain't even sitting back and ask no questions. Man, what's going on with this here, man? You ain't gonna do like what Jehoshaphat did. Jehoshaphat said, man, ain't another prophet around here, Ahab? You ain't got nobody else? Y'all just gonna go. Y'all just gonna go. You just gonna run around there with Ahab, not understanding Ahab wicked as hell. You ain't got nobody around here fooling with you. See, that's an example of that in the book, right? Do not the book say this? Wasn't Ahab wicked as all out those? Didn't Yahuwah say, Jehoshaphat, what you went around here fooling with this man for? If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even fool with this nigga. The only reason why he ain't dying because you around here. And then after Jehoshaphat left around there, he said, man, why you love them who hate God? And why you helping the ungodly? What you went around here for? You know why Jehoshaphat went around there? Because we Israelites. Yahuwah looking at it like, I don't care if you were Israelite or not. You ain't had no business taking your stupid butt around there fooling with this nigga. This nigga worship idols. He killed a man and took his land. He unjust. He fooling with a wicked idolatrous woman. What you around here fooling with him for? Oh, it ain't showed nothing on my end, Mushroom. That man looking at him, what you fooling with him for? Now we in 2023 and we think we just be supposed to be fooling with everybody. It don't matter. Or don't you know you can lose your life fooling with these sinners, man? If you in a situation where Yahuwah don't want you around there because he done determined to kill this person. But see, you ain't got it in your mind that Yahuwah done determined to kill people and cut people off because they Israelites. You don't think that he'll do that. That man don't care about that. You care about that. He care about righteousness, faith, and obedience. That's what he care about. And he don't care nothing about if you an Israelite or not. You go against him, boy, he gonna part your scalp. And you got too much book for him doing that for you to think that he won't. Look here, man. What his name is? Achan. What happened to him? What happened to Achan? Who can tell me what happened to Achan? Who can tell me what happened to Achan? Oh, I heard volume on my side. I don't know what's going on. I think it's still good. I just checked it. I definitely just checked it. Hold on. Yeah, I definitely just checked it. Yeah, it just got a delay. His family was stoned to death. That's right. Him and his whole family got murdered. And you know why him and his whole family got murdered? Because he was out of pocket. He ain't just sit back and say, nah, the wife and the kids were straight. You in there with him, you dying with him. When you turn around and you look at what happened with Korah, everybody who was with Korah and what he had going on, everybody died with him. And they families. Man, that man ain't nobody be played with, man, on that stuff because you think he care about that bloodline stuff. Man, that man care about his word. He do not care, and he do not play. You care about that, and you want to superimpose on him that he care about that. That man don't give a damn about you being no Israelite, man. When it come down to the obedience of his word, when it come down to faith in his word, that man don't care about that. Ain't no respect to the person. That man will part your scalp down to the white meat, man, and sit there and watch you die and kill your whole family with you. For bucking him. Play with him if you want to. That's right. Acts 5, same thing. Doggone husband and wife was working together to defraud the Lord. He killed them both. He ain't care. He ain't care. Man, don't play with that man, I'm trying to tell you. See, that make people uncomfortable. People don't like to hear stuff like that. Don't play with that man, I'm trying to tell you. Don't play with it. He ain't nobody to be played with. The man done came through and gave you that reconciliation. And this is why I'm talking about this in regard to atonement, because it's a time of war and it's a time of peace. You know what I'm saying? See, you get the peace when you get in the kingdom because now you'll be made new. Because flesh and blood can't enter into the kingdom of Elohim. So therefore, you'll be given a new body. So you can put off this vile body. And there'll be no more war in the flesh. Because there'll be no flesh to war with. You'll be a ruach. You understand? I don't know if it's late in the game in the evening, boy. I don't know if they're ready for that. Now come on to 1 Samuel 30, man. I want to show you something, man. Praise Yahuwah, it came back to my mind. Because he put that out here earlier today. I want to come over here to 1 Samuel 30. I'm picking up at verse 14. We made an invasion, the south of the Kerethites, and upon which to Yehuda, upon the south of Caleb, when we burned Ziklag with fire. David said to him, can you bring me down this company? And he said, swear unto me by Elohim that you will neither kill me nor deliver me into the hands of my master, and I will bring down this company. And when he brought him, behold, spread abroad upon all the earth, eating and drinking and dancing, because of all the great spoil that they had taken out of the land of the Philistines, out of the land of Yehuda. Remember, I tell you with the two witnesses and people to be exchanging gifts. Now, let me ask you this question. Yahushua said his coming would be like unto what? He said when he returned, it would be like unto what? Y'all look stunned. Let me help y'all out a little bit. Ambery goodness. Ambery goodness. That's all I can say right now. That's all I'm smelling is ambery goodness. Yes, he said it would be like the days of Noah. And he said that they would be doing what? Eating and drinking, giving into marriage and marrying. And what it said? What you think they're going to be doing? See, everybody think during the time of the beast in the end, it's going to be like Max Thunderdome. But this man said something different than that. That's not what the Lord said. That's what you said. Hold on, let me show you. Let me get on around here to it. Oh, that's right. And Mother Sharona and said fig tree. Brother Langford said lightning, which he did say that. That wasn't what I was looking for, but he did say that. He did say that. That is an accurate assessment. Yeah. This over here, Luke 17 to 22. And he said unto the disciples, the days will come when you shall desire to see one of the days of the son of Adam, and you shall not see. And they shall say to you, see here or see there, and go not after, nor follow. For as the lightning that lightened at one part under Shamahim shine unto the other under Shamahim, so shall also the son of Adam be in his day. Now let me ask y'all this question. What do you think he mean when he say you shall desire to see one of the days of the sons of Adam and you won't see it? Joanne, come on. What y'all think what he mean by that? You should desire to see one of the days of Joanne, stop doing that to yourself. This baby gets so mad, man. She be trying to snatch her hair out. What do you think he mean by that? You should desire to see one of the days of the sons of Adam. Well, I give it to you like this here, right? When Yahushua was on earth, what did he say that he was here to do? He said he didn't come to condemn man, he came to save man. So when the beast is in the earth, the beast is going to be out here killing. Yahushua didn't come to kill. So you're going to be desiring to see the time of peace when you'll be caught up in a time of war. You understand? Y'all willing, we can delve into that more in depth. We ain't even get all the way back in Judges 14, but we got to atonement for that if the Lord allows. Verse 25, but he first must suffer many things and be rejected of this generation. And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the son of Adam. They did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. Likewise, also as it was in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone for Shamahim and destroyed all. Even thus shall it be in the day when the son of Adam is revealed. All this thinking that people just gonna be living like Max Thunderdome, and it's just gonna be people, we gotta have all this survival stuff. Man, that's not what that man said. If that's how they were living in Sodom and Gomorrah, that means they were living normal, right? If that's what they were doing in the days of Noah, that means they were living normal. That means they were going about their regular sin-filled, lust-filled lives as if nothing was amiss. Now, the difference between that time with the beast and the time of Noah and Lot is you will have an unscrupulous, ungodly unfaithful, no man of any regard of any level of righteousness, mercy, or care of God on earth, slaughtering anybody who goes against him. That's the difference. Those who stand for Yahushua HaMashiach, those who stand for the words of the living Elohim will be persecuted, will be imprisoned, and will be killed. That's the only difference. These people going to be doing what they've been doing. Ain't going to be no food shortage. Ain't going to be none of this stuff you got to be off in the cut. People going to be living a regular life, man. Partying up, having it a good time. Don't you realize it said during the time of the two witnesses, the people going to be sending gifts to each other? That don't sound like people living in some type of squalor. Nigga done made this stuff out to be a movie because you can, man, the book say that this man gonna be dropping plagues and people won't even repent of their fornications or their murderers or their idolatry or nothing. These people gonna be doing what they've been doing. It's just gonna be under an oppressive, authoritative, Satan-led regime. That's all. That's it. But these people are going to be faggots. They're going to be whoremongers. They're going to be liars. They're going to be idolaters. They're going to be murderers. All that's going to keep on going. You thought they was living in some type of survivor mode during the time of Noah? No. They were living in their sin-filled life, and he killed them. Because they wasn't looking for it. Sodom and Gomorrah, they were doing everything they wanted to do. And they ain't hide that sin. And he killed them. He ain't hold back. He ain't hold back at all. Let's continue. So when you see this verse 16, when they brought him down, behold, spread abroad upon all the earth, eating and drinking and dancing, because of all the great spoil that they taken out of the land of the Philistines, out of the land of Yehudah. See, the enemies of Israel, the enemies of David, the enemies of Yehudah, they were partying it up, and then the wrath came. Let's look and see. David smote them from the twilight even until the evening of the next day. And there escaped not a man of them, say 400 young men, which rode upon camels and fled. Notice how he said from the twilight, because at evening time it shall be light. And ain't nobody escaping that sword. You all dying. Y'all dying. And look at what he said in verse 18. And David recovered all that the Amalekites had carried away. And David rescued his two wives. He rescued Yashar'al and Yehudah. But y'all just thought that just was a story about David fighting some Philistines. There was nothing lacking to them, neither small nor great, neither sons nor daughters, neither spoil nor any that they had taken to them. David recovered all. See, and in John chapter 10, and remember what was David's occupation? He was a shepherd. This man told you that the thief came but not to steal, kill, and destroy, and I come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly, for I am the good shepherd, and the good shepherd give his life for the sheep. That's what David just did, showing you a pattern of that which was to come. David took all the flocks and the herds. They drave before those cattle, and said, this David spoiled. David came to the 200 men, which were so faint that they could not follow David, whom they had made also to abide at the brook of Besor, and they went forth to meet David and to meet the people that with him. And when David came near to the people, he saluted them. Then answered all the wicked men and of Belial, of those that went with David, and said, because they went not with us, we will not give them of the spoil that we have recovered, save to every man his wife and his children, that they may lead away and depart. You shall not do so, my brethren, with that which you who have given us, who have preserved us and delivered the company that came against us into our hand. For who will hearken unto you in this matter? But as his part that go down to the battle, so his part that tarry by the stuff, they shall part alike. And from that day forward, that he made it a statute in an ordinance under Yashar'al unto this day. And David came, when he came to Ziklag, he sent spoil unto the elders of Yehudah, to his friends, saying, behold, a present for you of the spoil of the enemies of Yehudah, to which in Bethal, and to which in South Ramah, and to which in Jatir, and to which in Aurora, and to which in Sipmo, and to which in Essetamor, and to which in Rakal, to which in the cities of the Jeremielites, to which in the cities of the Kenites, to which in Hormah, to which in Korshan, to which in Atak, and to which in Hebron, and to all the places where David himself and all his men were wont to haunt. David, you just said it right there, man. He said, what is it if I tell you to tarry till I come? That man said, man, he said, man, what is it to you if I tell him to stay here till I come? Go feed my sheep, because it's the same to him that slide to the same to him that stay. But the point that we came there is the men of Belial felt like because we did this work, we supposed to get the most, because they wasn't doing it for Yahuwah, they were doing it for the stuff. You know what I'm talking about? See, David had it in mind, these are enemies of Yahuwah, and we're going to take what they spoil, take this spoil, and we're going to break bread with everybody. See, remember what he said? He took captivity captive, and he gave gifts unto men. This is what David doing. See, he redeemed them from the hand of the Philistines, taking captivity captive, and gave gifts unto men. And he made sure to send it into every place where he walked through. Why you think it tell you in the book that Yahushua walked up and through in all the land, just like Abraham did, just like Yahushua son of Nun did, as a force to stamp his territory in the land that he inherited, so that every part that he stepped in the land, that everybody could get some of the spoil. See, the spoil is the Ruach HaKodesh. See, them men were worthless, so they wasn't going to get it. Why did I point to that? Because just because somebody go down in the battle with you don't mean they're God. Their heart ain't right. These men went down and fought with him. That's what it said in verse 22. Then answered all the wicked men and of Belial that went with David. They went with him down at a fight. But it said that these men were wicked. And you know why they were wicked? Because there was no mercy. There was no grace. There was no abundance of goodness and truth. There was no any of that. The elements that there was no love and kindness. There was no any of that. Ain't that what that man told you? Those are things, those men didn't have that. And they were Israelites and they went and fought. But this man said they were sons of Belial. You understand me? These were worthless men who had been rejected, but they was out there working with him though. That's right. Their hearts wasn't perfect towards Yahuwah, and it got revealed. When the right situation and circumstance arose, you could see what was in their heart. They weren't down with Yahuwah. Because what was David worried about? You see it in verse 18. He wanted to recover his wives. And he said that there would be nothing lacking to them. Not to small or great. Not to sons or daughters. What did that take you for? There's neither bond nor free, neither Yahudim nor Greek, neither male nor female, but all the one in Yahushua HaMashiach. Where you think Paul can line that up from? Where you think he get it from? It's right here. This is the same concept. I know this is our history. You just superimposing. I think I ought to superimpose a penis upside your head for being stupid. Do you know what I'm talking about? Because you know why you're stupid? Because you're missing the principles of godliness. This ain't just to put Yahushua somewhere. It's to show you the principles of godliness, to show you that God was in David, so that you can see that who David was, that was Yahushua in him, because Yahushua showing you this. This is what godly men do. This is how Yahuwah move. This is how Yahuwah operate. This is the character you're supposed to emulate. These are the steps you're supposed to follow. This is how you'll be led by the Ruach and not be under the law. Joanne. See, because David was under the Ruach, that's why he wasn't under the law. So that's why when he committed that sin, he was able to get that grace, because he had been led by the Spirit the whole time. So he was able to get a little grace right there, man. You know what I'm saying? The show of mercies of David, like Isaiah put it, in a situation when he ought to die for what he had done. Because as the Apostle James told you, mercy rejoices against judgment. And like David wrote in Psalms, he showed himself merciful to the merciful. See, that's what made those men wicked. There wasn't no mercy in them. It wasn't no justice in them. It wasn't no compassion in them. Yahuwah wasn't in them. But you think because somebody doing what looked like the work of Yahuwah, because somebody looked like a servant of Yahuwah, you think Yahuwah in them. But all you got to do is all you got to do is a situation and circumstances when lust is involved, aka desire, and you'll see it full-fledged. But hallelujah for Yahushua in the world. We're going to start right there for now. Y'all willing, man, we'll be back at it on Shabbat. Know that on Shabbat night is our beginning of observance of Day of Atonement. That is when Tabernacle money is due, $250 a family, $150 for singles. We give all esteem and praise to Abba and Shamahim in the name of Yahushua, and I appreciate y'all this evening. And bless you out the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. Just weigh and consider, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't intend to go in that direction, but pray be to Yahuwah. We slid that way anyway. And that's in regards to I know everybody don't know the ins and outs and ends of atonement. I ain't read Hebrews 9, but Hebrews 9 and Hebrews 10 is talking about Day of Atonement. More specifically, Hebrews 9. Well, Hebrews 10 too, if I'm not mistaken. And it's showing you how this man made one sacrifice for all. Hebrews 7 talk about it too. You know what I'm talking about? So there's no more need for this. Is what brothers don't realize. That's why it ain't simple. That's why you don't need no priest to do no sacrifices. That's a wrap. That's what that Daniel 9 was about. That man done came and made reconciliation for iniquity. That man done purged that and caused you to be one of this man when there was a fissure. See, I wanted to get to that point when he said it's a time to gather and it's a time to scatter away. Because there was a time where he pushed the people away, and now it's going to be a time to gather the people. You know what I'm talking about? So when you know what time you're in, then you know what to tell the people to do. See, right now we're in a time where we need to gather the people to Yahuwah. We don't necessarily need to gather to one another. We need to gather to Yahuwah. Because if we're not gathered to Yahuwah, us gathering to each other is going to be pointless. You know what I'm talking about? It's going to be pointless. I'm not saying that we should never gather to each other. We put the cart before the horse. You got to gather to Yahuwah first. And then when we gather with each other, we'll have the power of God. If we just gather into each other and we ain't gather to Yahuwah, we ain't got no power. You know what I'm saying? You got to get the power of God first to actually effectively be able to do anything. We don't have the power of God. That's why we can't do nothing. And we're not seeking the power of God because we think the power of God are the things of this life and the things of this world. And it's not. The power of God are things that cannot be held by the natural eye. The power of God is things that cannot be extolled and exalted in the hands of man. As I told you before, we preach the gospel of Yahusha. And one reason why we preach that is because, one, because that's what you're supposed to do. And two, the praise and esteem and exaltation will always go to Abba and Shamahim in the name of Yahusha. It's always going to go to Elohim. It's always going to go to Yahuwah. Always. You cannot exalt yourself and preach the gospel at the same time. It's impossible. It's impossible. There's no way you can do it. It's absolutely no way you can do it. See, the false gospel will cause for the uplifting and exaltation of man. That's why in the book of John, that's why Yahushua say, hey, man, my doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. If any man do his will, he'll know if the doctrine is mine or if I speak of myself. He said, he that speak of himself, seek of his own esteem. Amen, man. Shoot, be safe out here too, bro. You know what I'm saying? But he that seeketh the esteem of him that sent him, he said the same is true, and there's no unrighteousness in it. You know what I'm talking about? So he letting you know, boy, if you preaching to esteem Elohim and Shamayim, boy, ain't nowhere in the world you can esteem yourself at the same time. It's impossible. It's impossible. So you have to pay attention to what you hearing. Is what you hearing is Yahuwah being exalted, or is man being exalted under the guise that Yahuwah is being exalted? Because a lot of stuff, man, Yahuwah is not being exalted. It seemed like that because you hear, like when you hear people talk, man, you got to mention, was Yahuwah even mentioned? Where's his praise at? Where's his esteem? Where is the drawing and moving the people to him? Ain't no power in the earth, man. Ain't no land you can get no power from. Ain't no money you can get no power from. Ain't no government you can get no power from. Ain't no flesh and blood you can get no power from. Ain't nothing you can build, plant, or do that can get some power from. Because you can lay your eyes on that. Anything you can lay your eyes on, that's not the power of God. The power of God can't be seen with the natural eye. Can't be seen with it. That man already told you, I haven't behold, nor ear have heard, nor the heart of man perceive what Elohim has for those who love him. Well, your eyes can't see that. Come on. Come on, Joanne. Well, you got to come on. Come on. Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? We got to get the power of Elohim first, man, then we'll be good to go. If not, we're just going to be spinning our wheels. But I bless y'all the house Elohim in the name of Yahushua, man. No, we don't drink no water, Mother Sharona. So for those who don't know, it's a 24-hour fast, no food, no drink, the affliction of your soul. Now, I will say this here, because some brothers have difference on this here, man. He say all souls. So that's kids and all. Now, I will say this here, depending on the age of your child, You know what I'm talking about? Especially if you got a small infant, then you already know, man, that baby not gonna be able to maintain that. You know what I'm talking about? So, but if they big old rusty churn that go to school, know how to take a dump, eat lunch and all this type of stuff that in the third, them niggas be all right. You know what I'm talking about? And then of course you got what would be considered a Nineveh fast. That's when the animals didn't eat and all. Now I didn't get to Isaiah 58, but y'all willing I'll get to it on Friday. But you know, Isaiah, the purpose of I mean, we have done children under 3. Shoot, we done did children 1 and all. You know what I'm talking about? But like I say, if you got small Friday night mushroom. But if you got small children, you know what I'm talking about? Pay attention to that. If you got medication that you need to take, I would say you go ahead and take that. You know what I'm talking about? I would say go ahead and take that. If you got medication that your body requires for whatever ailment or maladies that may subsist in your natural body, I would advise you to take that. I would advise you to brush your teeth because you got some bruise. Tell people don't brush your teeth. You know what I'm talking about? Don't come around me with no funky mouth because I'm going to say something to you because I don't know. Don't be trying to be no slick nigga and try to swallow the water while you're brushing your teeth. I remember Bruce told you, so I ain't brush my teeth. I say, nigga, that crazy. Man, brush. I done seen people say you can't shower. Come on, bro. Who in the shower drinking water? You know what I'm saying? You don't do that on any other. That's something little kids do. Stick their tongue out and catch shower water in their mouth. You a 35-year-old man. What you got going on? You know what I'm saying? Like some of these dudes be wilding, man. You tell a nigga not to bathe, man, you better go take a bath. You ain't like dare say a sinner or a cheater. Man, you better go wash your behind, boy. You know what I'm talking about? Better go wash your behind, man. But yeah, like we were talking about before, man, the purpose of afflicting your soul is to understand the suffering that a Mashiach went through in order to reconcile you. Because that's what the Day of Atonement is about. It's about reconciliation. So you're afflicting your soul for you to recall and remember the suffering in the flesh that a Mashiach went through to cease sin. And that if he did that in his natural body to make an end of sins, to finish the transgression and to make a reconciliation for iniquity, that you can resist the flesh and live under God. That's the point of atonement in reality. But Mo Brews don't know that because they really ain't been taught properly. To be that 100% honest with you. You know what I'm talking about? So you think it's something else. You know what I'm saying? You think it's something else. Let me show you something in that Isaiah 58, man. We hear it a lot, but let me just show you this point. Because I meant to slide around that this evening. We didn't do it. Right here in Isaiah 58:5, man. Or 58:3. He said, wherefore have we fasted and you see not? Have we afflicted our soul and you take no knowledge? Behold, in the day of your fast, you find pleasure and exact all your labors. He said, man, when you fast, you ain't supposed to be doing your own work and doing that which delights you. That's how you go. That's how you know if people actually are suffering in the flesh to cease from sin. Because if you literally suffer in the flesh to cease from sin, then you'll cease from your work like Elohim did from his. You would no longer live the rest of your time to the lust of the flesh and to the lust of men, but to the will of Elohim. This is how you know a lot of people don't really understand what atonement about, because you still living for yourself. Because you would know we don't live unto ourselves, but unto him who died and rose again for us. You did? He said, behold, you fast for strife and debate, to smite with the fist of wickedness. You shall not fast as day, to make your voice be heard on high. And it's something I've always told you, man. The purpose of fasting is for your voice to be heard in heaven. You praying so that this man prayerfully, for his great name and mercy's sake, you know what I'm saying? That your prayers would come if it would be ever so humbly possible to come to the foot of his throne, and then he would hearken to it. You know what I'm talking about? Is it such a fast that I've chosen a day for a man to afflict his soul, to bow down his head as a bulrush, to spread sackcloth and ashes? Will you call this a fast, an acceptable day to Yahuwah? Is this not a fast I've chosen, to loose the bands of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, to let the oppressed go free, that you break every yoke? Don't you realize, man, that that's what he's showing you on atonement? When that man was up there suffering, that he had spread out mourning in the sackcloth, that this was a fast he chosen, because on that fast, man, he loosed you from the bands of wickedness and them heavy burdens, so the oppressed could go free. Because he said, if the Son shall make you free, you shall be free indeed, because he that commits sin is the servant of sin. He came to free you. You ain't want to be free, though. You ain't want to be free. This is our problem. Because that's what Isaiah 58 is about. It's about atonement and what he made it for. But we don't realize what he made atonement for, man. Atonement was to free you from sin, boy. Not for you to be walking around here. If I offended anybody this year, I'm sorry. Set your stupid behind up, nigga. Sound like a dummy. Getting on the internet with that goofy behind jump, man. Man, if you know you did somebody wrong, man, then go holler at them. You know what I'm talking about? Start trying to gain points on the internet, man. Indeed. We could talk about it on Friday, man. There, just mentioned that the word for fasting is interesting. Some means to abstain from food and to cover one's mouth. Make him think about how an inner man will be calling out the Elohim. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? We do a lot of goofy stuff, man. That's why we ain't getting where we need to be. And we gotta tighten up on our backstroke. Thank you, who, Mother Sharon. Thank you. You know what I'm talking about? So, yeah, man. Yeah, it's atonement ain't about like we make atonement. I say, man, we make an atonement about what it's not about. Atonement is about purging the sins. Atonement is about being one with Yahuwah. The fasting is for us to gain spiritual endurance. Like I said, that we can deny the flesh, you know what I'm talking about, so that we can feed the Ruach. That if we deny the flesh, that we can live to God. That we can understand the battle between the flesh and the spirit. Praise Yahuwah. That's a good thing to hear. Praise Yahuwah. You know what I'm talking about? And yeah, man, that's what it's about. It ain't about what most of us been told it's about, man. We just be out here capping, percolating, you know what I'm saying? Straight, capped out, flodged out, perked out, and all that good old stuff. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, man, you got to think about that. Most of us, we got to fast. This is fasting. I seen my man's, man. I don't know where he was at, but my man was like, man, up in Jersey, man. He was on a congregation of brothers, man. He said, man, them boys stay locked in with each other and pray for 24 hours straight. You know what I'm saying? That's a beautiful thing to see, man. See, we don't look to do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean that everybody got to do that, but it's just a part of mine was that, like, this is what we gonna do. Because we want to be heard. So we're going to deny ourselves and we're going to seek your face for the entirety of the day. You know what I mean? See, a lot of brews, and which, of course, I don't got as many brews on the page that post about this stuff like in years past. I'm so hungry, all the type of stuff, man. Man, if you're doing the work of Yahuwah, your mind ain't going to be on no food. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, you know, we do other things now, but y'all know time past, boy, we used to have service twice, and I'd go extra long, service in the nighttime, service in the daytime. You know what I'm talking about? Because if your mind stayed on Yahuwah, you ain't got no time to be worrying about what ain't in your belly. You know what I'm saying? But, of course, you know, we do other things these days, so that kind of compensate for that. You know what I'm talking about? But if your mind on the work of Yahuwah, your mind can't be on no food. When you just sitting around, and the work of Yahuwah not being done, and your mind gonna be on food. Because if your mind go to food on that day, man, that means you need to go pray. Don't you realize whatever request you got for Yahuwah, if you ain't never made them requests be known before, that's the day to make them be known. Whether and that's really any day you fast and be 100% honest. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, when you fasting, whatever request you got, that's when you supposed to make them known. Remember that man say, man, this is the loose, the bands of wickedness, man, and the undo heavy burdens, man. Break the yoke and let the oppressed go free. Don't you realize that's what happened when that man was afflicting his soul on that stake? You ain't know that was atonement, because these stupid niggas couldn't tell you that, because they didn't know. And like what Mother Sharona's just mentioned, is that's the purpose of the gospel, is it's supposed to allow for growth, meaning what he said in Matthew 13 or what he said in Luke 8, that when you receive the seed in good ground or in a good and honest heart, you'll keep it with patience. You'll keep it and bring forth fruit with patience, because the growth is supposed to develop the fruit. When you growing, it's supposed to, that means there's a piece of the fruit from the word that should be manifesting from the inside out. So in that growth, remember he say, man, he said, and you're the branches. And he said, he purged it that you might bring forth more fruit. So through the growth, that's where you're supposed to be seeing, hey, man, joy flow out of me. Peace flow out of me. Long suffering flow out of me. Self-control flow out of me. The love of Elohim flow out of me. The faith of Elohim flow out of me. Gentleness and goodness and meekness flow out of me. You know what I'm saying? That's how they're supposed to be, man. That's how they're supposed to work. Amen, indeed. That's how they're supposed to work. That's how they're supposed to work. Because if those fruits are manifest, everlasting life is present. And if those fruits are manifest, then you led by the Spirit. And if you led by the Spirit, you're not under the law, because against those things there is no law. And where there is no law, there is no death. Because where there's no law, there's no transgression. Where there's no transgression, there is no death. We will be catching on to that, man. But I give all the esteem and praise to Abba and Shamahim in the name of Yahushua for the simple fact that he even allowed us to not only know it, but to understand it. You understand what I'm talking about? Like, I just want y'all to sit back and pay attention to something, man. This ain't got nothing to do with none of us. Definitely ain't got nothing to do with me. This got to do strictly with your Elohim and Shamahim and your Redeemer that sit at his right hand. That by his grace and mercy, exclusively to him, not by anything that any of us have ever done, that he shows forth to be able to not only allow us to know it, but to understand it and have the wisdom to implement it. You understand what I'm telling you? So that we can bear fruit, the fruits of everlasting life. That's the mercy of God. That's the mercy of Elohim. That's the mercy of the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Well, that's the mercy of Yahuwah right there, man. That ain't based off of nothing. Because a lot of people want to look at it as, oh, it's something you did. Boy, ain't nothing we did. Ain't no commandments we kept for that. That ain't nothing but the Bakar Elohim, man. That ain't nothing but the election of Elohim, because he saw fit to give that for. Because without him, we wouldn't know nothing. That's all him. That's why all esteem, praise, and honor got to go to Abba in the name of Yahushua continually and consistently without fail, always and forever. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's how that goes. Yeah, that's how that goes. That's how that's supposed to go. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's why I always tell you, don't thank me, thank Yahuwah. That's all Yahuwah, man. I ain't that much studying in the world, my G. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't that much studying in the world, man. Ain't nobody that nice. Yahuwah that nice. And he saw fit for us to know it so that we could be saved, man. At the end of the day, understanding come forth so we can live. Amen. So we can live, man. This ain't nothing like, yeah, we know this and y'all don't, man. No, man, we ain't on that type of goofy type of time, man. Nobody on that, man. Man, we dust and ashes, man. Worthy of death. Everybody over here, man, worthy of death. Everybody over here done committed to sin, worthy of death. Man, we should have been in the grave long time ago, man. Man, this is to extol the mercy of Elohim. That's what the Day of Atonement is about. What you talking about? That's what the Day of Atonement is about. It's the mercy of God. And for us to be able to receive the word, that means that we get a Day of Atonement every day. Because we allowed to be able to be reconciled to this man through the stake of his son. You understand what I'm telling you? And through faith in him, boy, you can be able to hold that seed and bring forth the fruit under everlasting life. We don't care nothing about what these niggas out here talking about, man. We trying to live out here, you understand? Yeah, man, that's what we on. That's what we on. Praise you. Sean say he's seen his Facebook memory from 4 years ago. And praise you, who my life was nowhere near where it was then. Praise God. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, man, you know what I'm talking about? That's why I tell you, man, that's why we preach the gospel, man. That's why I focus on that. That's why we manifest Yahushua like that. Because by the grace of God, he let me understand that a long time ago. What that meant and what that was about. You know what I mean? See, like I say, most, of course, some of y'all know me in the flesh for a long time. But it's only one person on here. You know what I'm talking about? That was actually seen what I was on before we were doing any of this here. And I've been on the same thing the whole time. You know what I'm saying? The whole time. It's only two people on this earth that could tell you that was there every day of it. One even more so than my mother. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, we've been on this the whole time. Only thing what it is that by the grace of God, the understanding just got better and better and better. That's it. You know what I'm talking about? But the foundational concept has been the same the whole time. You know what I'm talking about? Now, of course, other than came along not too far from the inception, you know what I'm saying, or the conception, if you would, you know what I'm talking about? But yeah, man, we've been on the, man, when I was in the street, it's the same type of deal. Yeah, we preaching the same thing the whole time. The whole time. Ain't nothing changed. Just the understanding got better. Same type of time. Ain't never been on what these niggas on, man. Never. For what? And for why? For why? Ah, man, we thank Yahuwah for that. You know what I'm talking about? You know how stupid we could be if he didn't choose to do that? Lord have mercy. But let me let y'all go, man. Y'all willing, man. We'll be back at it Shabbat night, man. You know, double up Shabbat. You know what I'm talking about? Regular Shabbat and the Shabbat for atonement, man. And we're going to make it do what it do. So, Yahuwah willing, until then. Praise Yahuwah, man. Brother Marcus say a year with it, man. He's so grateful. Yeah, man, should be grateful to Yahuwah. Let Yahuwah be his team. You know what I'm talking about? Because without him, we are nothing and can do nothing, and it will surely perish. You know what I'm talking about? So we thankful that he give us the opportunity to live through the grace and mercy of his word. You know what I'm talking about? Because where would we be without it? Surely we'd be men most pitiful. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, man, y'all willing on Shabbat, man. I set y'all in the flesh, man, and we're gonna make it do what it do. All right, y'all.